everyone! Welcome to our Edu 513 Administration and Supervision in Secondary Schools with our Professor Dr. Pedro Aristanio Jr. I am Micah Shela Momo. I will talk to you about understanding in organizational culture. Culture is simply a shared way of doing something with a passion. Right? Now, let's define what is organizational culture. An organizational culture, it is defined that proper way. It is the proper way to behave within the organization. This culture consists of shared beliefs and values established by leaders and then communicated and reinforced through various methods, ultimately shaping employee perceptions, behaviors, and understanding. In Skin 1985 defined organizational culture as a set of beliefs, values, and assumptions that are shared by members of an organization. The Skin's model of organizational culture is a method which aims at explaining the concept of culture and the way it affects organizations. Skin proposed that there are 3 layers or levels of organizational culture. The first one is the artifacts, number 2 is the espoused values, and number 3, the underlying assumptions. First, there is the visible layer, which he termed surface manifestations. The second, there are organization values and beliefs located beneath the surface. And third, there are the basic assumptions which underpin for the both first and second layers. Another common definition still utilized by many practitioners today is simply the way we do things around here. When basic assumptions are understood, the apparently isolated and confusing artifacts and values become coherent. Organizational culture and organizational climate, different or the same? Organizational culture is a broader construct that encompasses much of employees' experience at work, whereas climate is more narrowly defined in terms of employees' shared perceptions of the organizational policies, practices, procedures, and reward systems. Organizational culture is the way in which tasks are completed, and organizational climate refers to how it feels to work in that organization. Interpersonal relationships are core to the development of an organization's climate. Climate is prone to more variability across the organization, with climate varying between different subsidiaries, departments, or units. Organizational culture is very difficult to change in a short period of time. Organizational climate has a more immediate impact on employees and is something which can be adjusted more easily. A healthy organizational climate is one where support, cooperation, and democratic decision-making are strong and contribute towards greater work effectiveness. Stressful organizational climates are characterized by limited participations in decisions, use of punishments, conflict avoidance, and non-supportive group and leader relations. A variety of dimensions have been found to impact on employees' perceptions and organizations' climate. This includes the following: support, fairness, autonomy, recognition, and trust. And that's the end of my report. I have 2 questions related to my topic. Number 1, amidst this COVID-19 pandemic that we're experiencing right now, cite an example and how an organizational culture transformed by it. Okay? COVID-19 and the large-scale social and economic shock which it both has already profoundly transformed organizational cultures. Well-known symbols of organizational life, such as open-plan workplaces filled with people wearing suits, have been replaced to perspex screens and personal protective equipment. Rituals, such as watercolor chart, have been replaced with Zoom calls, Google Meet. No? The underlying values and assumptions of many organizations seem to have shifted from exploration and creativity towards safety and resilience. This profound change represents a major challenge for managers, departments. They are asking themselves how they can build a company culture when everyone is working from home. But it also represents a significant opportunity for researchers to investigate how such a large-scale transition in society unsettles organizational culture and how those cultures might adapt. Number 2. What are the most identified current culture problems you see and ideas for solving them? Well, for me, the most identified current culture problems that we are facing right now are the following. Number 1, employees are bored, discouraged, or generally unhappy. Then, how will you solve this? You can force people to be happy. You must listen to them. And you can even do that until you build trust with them. That's a slow process, but it's worth the effort. Number 2, supervisors are under-equipped, so they over-supervise. Naturally, a new supervisor thrown into the deep end of the pool will feel anxious. Insecure supervisors will often overmanage and get bossy. That will rankle the employees and the negative cycle is reinforced. Next, the conflict or tension is palpable. The easiest culture problem for a leader or a whole leadership team to overlook is a dark, heavy feeling in the air. Nobody wants to talk about it because they're afraid to bring up the topic. Like, why is it so hard to work here? No one wants to be the bearer of bad news, right? So what is the solution for that? Be the truth teller. Be open-minded and hear the voices of the leader. Okay? And now, lastly, communication only flows down and not up. A sure sign of an unhealthy culture is communication that flows down rather than up and across. Some companies, some departments, some schools put out memos and across the board email blasts to communicate with their employees, teachers. But executives, principals, managers, department head, don't stop and talk with employees when they run into them. In a healthy company, everybody is always talking. Principals are always asking. Supervisors are always asking. What do you think about that? Is it a good idea? How would you do it differently? They want to hear people's opinion, no matter what they are. You can instill this kind of communications once you get the job to be a teacher. I hope you learned something today. Goodbye, everyone!